or you're not going to do those things. Since my video got cut off, I'm gonna keep that thought. So, I'm not mad at my grandfather. I'm not mad at my uncle. Obviously, my family's wonderful, and their image and what matters to them should matter to me. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if discarding of me is part of it, I'm a pretty proud person myself. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it really comes down to. I'm a pretty proud person myself. So to see my mother kind of not get acknowledged until the end, when they say who he left behind, who superseded him or what have you, they throw her in there, his daughter. Like, where did she come from? You know what I mean? You didn't mention her. It's like, oh yeah, and Barbara and Brandon Fulmer, her son. It's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know how to feel about that, and I'm not gonna pretend like I was 100% not slighted by all of that. That's something that the people who wrote that, whoever wrote that, don't know how that feels. They don't know how that feels. If you know how that feels, you don't do that. That's what I'm telling you. So, these are the type of things that are in the world, man. I don't have it all that bad. Like, there are people who have it a lot worse. And I respect your positions, and I think that's what the Lord gave me, a way to respect y'all positions in a way that people who don't go through this don't respect. This is why it's so important that a lot of us carry the burden of certain circumstances, because there are a lot of people who are carrying the burden of certain circumstances, and people who don't know how it feels to go through things tend to disregard those people, and that empathy that needs and that understanding that needs to be there. Otherwise, you won't be there when you're alone in what you go through. So I just want people to understand, like, I got a great family that loves me a lot, and they're taking care of me more than probably a lot of people. You know what I mean? I've been given more than a lot of people would get. So it's not like the treatment matches this statement, but I almost felt like I didn't belong there yesterday, as it pertains to reading that obituary. I'm his only grandson, and I truly felt like they were ashamed of me. Not because of my merits as a person, but because of how my mother may have been come about, and how she wasn't of the Waller family tree under Maddie. And that is just what it is. And I felt like my uncle, not my Uncle Thurman, but my Uncle Merle, who's also not from that Waller tree, may have felt it slighted in his own way. I felt like we felt like we were at a distance. And even though the Wallers are a wonderful family to be included in, when you go to your grandfather's funeral, you don't want to feel at a distance. You know what I mean? And that's really what I'm here to tell y'all. So just treat people right, man. I don't know how to handle those situations. If a person cheats on somebody and has a child or something like that, or if a person does some old nefarious stuff and has a child, like, I don't know how you handle that. I don't know how you protect a man from his legacy, from his transgressions. I don't know how to do that. But people get hurt. People who are left behind to live the lives as the bastard, or people who get left behind to live the lives of the child that came from whatever, what have you, in the presence of trying to protect the person who did whatever, you really hurt the people who didn't have a say-so in this, who probably don't deserve it. And if you don't know how that feels and you're doing the hurting, it's not cool. It doesn't feel good. It ain't necessary to do that. We all harbor our own legacy at the end of the day. I can go on to marry a great woman, have a bunch of children, have all those children accomplish a lot of things, and all of a sudden I got my own legacy that people will try to protect. If for some reason I do something within that space that I have no business doing. I don't doubt that when people are hurt by the loss of some people, maybe they don't feel as empathetic, or maybe they just show their true colors about how they really feel about circumstances. I don't doubt that that's a thing, you know what I mean? And nor do I think that I've held my weight to be able to have a say-so in any of this. I don't believe I have, and that's on me. And maybe it even is above me in some ways. When you look at how things trickle down, I don't know. But I'm holding my own accountability for stuff like this. If I were taking care of myself, if I were a rich man in this world, if I had my own family walking in there with my head held high, I have more of a leg to stand on to say, yo, I don't treat you, we ain't about to do this. But I'm in the space I'm in, so it's like I'm not in the space of being respected. I too can't get that respect. And I respect that. Excuse me, y'all. But at the same time, it's like, to be honest with you, it inspires me to want to create that legacy. It inspires me to want to gain that type of respect somehow. It inspires me to want to have my own family in a different kind of way. And I can't tell you if this is going to work in your life. If you're in my shoes, you have a right to say something, or if you're not going to do more damage trying to uphold your own, selfish legacy, that you're going to be loved for that. If I get up and say, you forgot my mama, no, why y'all talking like I ain't here? How bad of a look is that? Probably a worse look than me having this happen to me in this way. You know what I mean? It's like we're backed into a corner where standing up for yourself makes you look crazy. Or being slighted makes you look selfish. So, I just want people to understand, like, if you're in that boat, I don't really know what way to work in this situation. Nor do I want to make everything about me. You know what I mean? Is it not? But I still feel how I feel. I still went through having to sit there in that way, in that space. And the conundrum of thinking that I'm selfish for feeling this way is a struggle in and of itself. You know what I mean? So I just want people to understand what I just experienced there. Like I said, the people who did that are still treating me great. I felt like family around them. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this, like they getting me the hell up out of here or keeping me from something I'm supposed to be getting. It's not like that. But just as it pertains to how they worded that obituary, it was almost like my mother never came about. Like, they started their family and my mother was like a black eye on that. When she came before them, it's not like he went off and had a kid after getting married. My mother was here first. And for better or for worse, he only had one grandchild. It's me. I'm the one that carries on the legacy. But if they don't respect that I have that legacy, then I don't carry it on at all, if not for just biology. You know what I mean? If they don't even see me as a Deloney, they're essentially saying whether I live or die, it don't matter, because his bloodline is already gone. When biologically, this is not true. It's here I am. And the scary thing is, or the ironic thing is I think I'm going to be standing for things that they would be very proud of. When it's all said and done, when I'm done living this life, I think I'm going to be one of the great Delonys to ever walk. But because I came in some way that they're not proud of, or my mother came in some way they're not proud of, I guess it don't count, even if I do. You know what I mean? So I guess I'm a bad guy for even harboring these feelings, when I should be thinking about the legacy of my grandfather and what matters to him, and who's going to be reading that and what they're going to think of him. But I never thought of him being ashamed of his daughter, although I don't know, maybe he was. I know my mother loved her family and was close to them. And I know image mattered a lot in the military. I know, my mother didn't grow up with my uncle and my auntie in my grandmother's household. She grew up in San Francisco, in the hood, with Black Panthers and stuff. You know what I mean? She wasn't in the big house, so to speak. She didn't get the great education. And she still made it to Hollywood, still did great things, won an Emmy. With Deloney touched her name, I just, I thought she was really, really good to everybody. All of them, I thought she was. She never took nothing from him like her son ended up doing, trying to make away from himself, asking for handouts. She never did that. Anything they ever gave her, she paid back or paid into. I thought she carried her weight. I did. I thought she earned the right to be acknowledged at her father's funeral. I thought so. A little more than just an afterthought, especially since she preceded him. I don't know, man. My mom deserved better than that. She did. She deserved better than that. Do I deserve better than that? Nah, hell no, I don't deserve better than nothing. She did. So I just had to get that out, man. I wasn't gonna bring that to my uncle. No, that's not how I am. I'm not the guy, hey, what are we doing? No. I go to my safe space, I have my conversations. In the presence of everybody, I'm not thinking about me. I'm trying to be who I need to be, to represent myself, my mother, and the energy of the Lord that He put in me to make things right as it pertains to people being around me. They got to feel good around me. That's my responsibility. Not a burden. It's just how I represent myself. I don't want to confront people about stuff, especially when they're grieving. No, I will go to you. And I tell you what makes my mental health go a certain way. And I leave it here. Safe space. You know what I mean? Not going to people that don't really know me that well, don't really share some of my values, or share some of my pain or what have you. Not really. So, I ain't here to bash nobody, nor am I ungrateful for what's been given to me. But my mother meant the world to me, meant the world to her father. And I think that whether it hurts my father's legacy or not, they should have been rather proud of the human being that my mother lived out to be. Whether she came here in some way that they can't get with, or maybe they heard a story that was not favorable, they should have been very proud to say, yo, Barbara Deloney gave Thurman Deloney his only grandson, his only grandchild, the only person that's going to pass forward, however it goes. That should have been something that we all as a family should be acknowledging was the most important thing to a family man, is that his family carry forward past him being gone. And if some transgression is the only way that could have been possible, then damn it, I think that should have been something that we discussed in a much more respectful and loving light. So that's just how I feel, man. I really feel that way. I don't subscribe to any of that, y'all. A person, however they get here, is to be respected and loved for the merits that they hold, bro. There should be no wedlock. A lot of that stuff is tradition and upholdings of image lies. You know what I mean? Like literally. When we read in the Bible that we get married, they didn't get married the way we got married. We do it a different way. So that someone have a child with somebody outside of that wedlock, it's like, because it's not Christian, it's something we got to ignore. Like, what are we doing? What about the merit of the person that came? What about the merit of that human being? It's a lot of people that were born of however together families, and they ain't nothing good people. And you got people who were born bastards who are great human beings. Why do we slight people? Because of the process of how they're funneled to the earth. It's about what they do here, not putting a measure on their worth based on the image of people who uphold cultures that are meant to be broken, discarded of anyway. The institution of marriage matters so much that we'll discard of our loving family members who've passed away in memory. Is that what we've allowed our cultures to do to us? Is that what we've allowed this world to do to us? That we discard of people that we loved a lot, who loved us a lot, because they were born in some way that we can't get with? Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Honestly. If that's what we're doing, I can't get with it. I won't uphold it. I won't speak of it in kind. It's going to die. When you're no longer around to tell the story. The people who are going to be telling a different story about how we discarded of people for things outside of the content of their character. We look at skin color, we look at religion, we look at status, we look at money, we look at every damn thing. But was that human being any good to the people around them? Who did they discard of to uphold these things? And if these things create an opportunity for us to discard of good people, it's the same thing I say about capitalism. If it creates the environment where we're judging people for things outside of their character, then it probably should be done away with. It probably ain't nothing to uphold. It does a bad job of vetting human beings. That's why so much evil gets done in the world by people we think are good people. Because we're ashamed to tell the truth. Because we're ashamed of who's going to be offended by the truth. People who are offended by the truth are a lot of people who are afraid to do things that they shouldn't be doing in the light. They only do their dirt in the dark. They lie. They want to see that other people are as good as they're forced to be, even though they know that they are jaded in the sense that they don't believe anybody's any good in a lot of these cases. It's that we uphold the guise of being good or having it together that ultimately is most important. Walk around with the most pessimistic attitudes, but demanding that everybody uphold the guise of having it all together. Only to discard of people who may be the best of us because they're not from products from which people had it all together. I'm not going to carry this forward. My generation is not going to carry this forward. I'm telling you, this is going to die with y'all who uphold this. We're not keeping this. We're not keeping that. Now we got a cap about the truth and all this and that. We're ashamed of the daughter that came from the situation where the person cheated. We ain't doing that. We're not keeping that going. I'm telling you, we're not keeping that going. And so that's what I want people to understand, man. I don't understand it. I don't like it. I'm not keeping it. I'm not gonna do it. If this is what y'all hoping we'll pass forward, we ain't. We're gonna talk about how you did this, and then we're gonna talk about why we shouldn't. That's how we're gonna talk about this, man. And all the people that you're trying to impress with all this, when they die, they're gonna have the same thing spoken to them when they did this type of stuff to people. It's not going forward. It's not going to be the measure from which we're willing to do business with somebody because they have to be married and all of this. No, we're not doing that. We know that most of the people who act like that are hiding something in a lot of cases. And it's not real. And it's okay to be real. It's not bad business to say you don't have it all together. Normalize saying words like this. It's not bad business to not have it all together. I can extend a contract to a man who doesn't have a wife. I can extend a contract to a person who may have had a few kids out of wedlock. Like, normalize this for yourselves, everybody. Because wedlock's not really a thing. Just like marriage in a lot of cases, two people don't love each other together so that they can keep up the guise of being married so that people won't do to them what they're willing to do to people who aren't married. Like, it's just like, yo, fam. If y'all don't stop the cap, it's only be the only thing people talk about when they talk to you. When they speak of you, it's only be the only thing they talk about. You capped and you passed. To give birth to those who weren't afraid of the truth. That's exactly what they're going to say. Who weren't too ashamed to tell the world, hey, yo, I didn't have it all together, but I'm proud of what came of this. I'm glad I'm going through this in my own way. I'm glad I'm wired the way I am to talk about it, because we really do need to do away with some of this. If for no other reason than it just allows for people to continue doing things they have no business doing by pretending to be people they are not. It's very bad. It allows for people to walk around in sheep clothing without any way to vet the bad that comes from them running around acting like they're not who they are. We got to do away with that. We're in the age of mental health. We're in the age of communication. We're in the age of technological advances where people communicate left and right all over the place. We can normalize being emotionally intelligent when it comes to these type of things. We do not have to keep up the old guys anymore. We don't have to do this. I'm going to live a life that makes you proud of me. And you're going to say I was a bastard child of a bastard mother. You're going to say that, and you're going to respect it in a different way. After I'm done having conversations on this channel, after I'm done living and breathing and doing what the Lord wants me to do, you're going to be more proud of the bastard than you were the dude that came from the family that was married. I guarantee it. I'm going to make sure of it. Because there was nothing wrong with me being born, just like it may have been everything wrong with them staying together when they didn't love one another, whoever they are, whatever the case. They kept that marriage together so that people wouldn't talk crazy about them, only for them to talk crazy about people. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. And how y'all live this way, I don't know. It's a God's honest truth. And I'm not speaking about anybody specific. I'm just talking about how this goes. In a lot of these cases, it speaks to that type of thing. I'm not protecting none of that at all. And the environment that I'm trying to influence ain't going to respect none of that, so it won't even be as necessary any damn way. Truth. You see, that's what I'm about. Breaking the mold is necessary, if necessary. Certain things don't have to be kept up. I'm not going to perpetrate stuff that I don't agree with just because everybody agrees with it. I'm the dude you follow and we start something new. I've been saying that since the beginning. I've been that the whole time. That's the genius that comes to this brain. I'm not good in some other things, but when it comes to not being afraid to say, yo, Israel is terrible. We're not rolling with them. They're killing people, children, and I've seen dead bodies. I don't have to uphold them because they control my government and because they own everything. What they own should be taken from them, no different than a drug dealer's money snatched from him when it's found that he's been doing that. This is what needs to happen. We don't have to keep capping like we don't know they've been doing horrible things to people who didn't deserve it since 1946. You don't have to act like we don't know that. Just because in this world around us, it's fine because it happened to us and we got through it too. Like, we don't have to do that. Well, we have this connection with Israel. They are allies, so therefore I ain't rolling with none of that. Those people are killing babies. And I don't have the privilege of being able to act like I ain't seen hundreds of bodies, thousands of bodies over the last 500 days. I don't have to act like I didn't see that shit. I saw it. I saw the pain. I celebrated Reem's birthday yesterday. Soul of my soul, her little birthday was yesterday. She was going to be, what, 5? And she's been gone for a year, killed in a genocide, and you think I'm about to sit up here and just act like that shit ain't happened because we are allies with Israel? Man, fuck Israel. Why? Because Israel killed Reem and Hind and the other 100,000 children that they murdered on purpose. I don't have to like them. I don't have to pretend like I like them because they sell me burgers. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? This is what y'all politics and what y'all uphold led us to, is being cool with people so long as they own a lot and keeping up their lies in the guise that they were decent people when they're actually killing babies on purpose. Like, I ain't playing with that type of shit. This is what this tumbling forward of what it is I described put us in a position to ultimately have going on right now. So I'm trying to get y'all to understand, man. Do not keep that going because this is what it ultimately came to. Now, we don't celebrate Hind. Why? Because she comes from a poor people. She comes from nothing. She's from Palestine. The Jews own everything, so therefore, she's their enemy, even though she's a 5-year-old girl who didn't do nothing to nobody. But it's fine that this happened to her because this is what our politics allow for. This is what our lies and all this and all the different things that we uphold in America, this is what it tumbled down to. This is what ultimately came of that. Where people are killing Hind. They're killing Reem. Killing Soul of my soul. And it's fine because they don't have nothing. I guess they were bastards or something. I don't know. They didn't come from the marriage of Judaism or whatever it is. I don't get it. I'm not going to try to get it. I don't care. You feel me? as it pertains to trying to uphold it, I don't. Like, it's okay to tell the truth. It's okay to say, yo, that's not okay. Yo, if we're gonna talk about how we hate people, having abortions or whatever the hell y'all want to talk about, that bullshit you agreed to that's supposed to be so horrible, but you're not upset at the little hats for killing hen? Like, what are we talking about? Why do I even respect you if this is what you want? Why do I look at you as a source from which to listen to in regards to my morality, if that's how you equate the world? You'll give your soul to Israel, but be angry at a 7-year-old girl for having an abortion when she was raped. But then when that child that you force into the world is had, you don't respect them by their own marriage. You call them a bastard or a rape child, and then proceed to discard of them and anything that comes from them. What the fuck? What am I listening to you for? You obviously are in need of guidance. You're not the person I need to be following. You're the person that needs to have what it is that you're upholding torn apart. Clearly. To anybody paying any kind of attention, clearly that's all that shows you. And I'm the exact type of person to do it. I'm the exact type of person to normalize telling people to start doing it. It is okay to do that. You don't have to listen to the guys that are doing all the bad things tell you that everybody they're doing it to is a bad person. You don't have to do that. That they have a lot of money and a lot of control over a lot of things is not something that is not your fault for allowing them to hold. See, that's what I'm telling all of us. It's our fault that they're in a world where it's normal to let them do that and not be held accountable. We need to start holding them accountable. We need to start holding people accountable who don't want to hold them accountable for their own personal reasons. This is where we are. That's what's necessary in order to protect the next hand, in order to stop the next genocide from ever happening. We got to do away with cap culture, which is what this ultimately comes down to. Cap culture. We're doing away with it. Cap culture, man. We're doing away with all that capping, bro. Capping means lying for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And look, man, I'm of a mindset that all of this trickles down to the same thing. It's godlessness, upheld by people who believe themselves to be of Christ. They are not of Christ. This is godlessness. If you were of Christ, you would never do this. You wouldn't do this. Now, whether you know it or not, it's your business. But the truth of the matter is, those of us who actually know Christ, we know that he would not want you to do this. He would want you to stand in the presence of anyone who would listen and say it's not okay to do these things. Free Palestine, whether it makes sense to you or not, you're going to hear me say it because I believe in Christ. I believe Hen didn't deserve to die. I believe Soul of My Soul didn't deserve to die. I believe Reem didn't deserve to die. And all the other thousands of nameless individuals that were slaughtered by Israel, I believe they didn't deserve to die. And whether they had a lot or didn't have anything at all doesn't change the fact that as a human being who calls himself a person of Christ, I should not uphold the culture of cap that allows for those who kill them to continue to control crap. Because Christ was somebody who just believed that you protect children, whether they were from Palestine, whether they're from this place, they're from that place, or from here. And anything that doesn't do that means, quite honestly, that you're not doing his work. You're not doing what he wants you to do. And that we're in a world where we've taught one another that it's okay to let it happen because we benefit from it, or look at all the good Americans that we're protecting by being this way. Like, that's a bunch of bullshit that we need to start normalizing calling that. I don't respect it. I'm not going to respect it because it didn't respect the life of this child or the children or the people or all the people that we've lost in this situation. Cap culture has killed off many people that didn't have a leg to stand on nor a person they wanted to harm. It smeared them off to be what they were not and judged them by things that had nothing to do with their character. And the culture of capitalism just hammered it home as normal. And I never, ever want to stand in a space where I get to tell you that God wanted me to uphold that. That I get to live my life and say, yo, Jesus Christ died for my sins, and because of it, it's fine for Israel to kill him. Like, what are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? So yeah, man, this is where I'm at, man. I don't care that something's been going on for a very long time. We're gonna stop it. We're gonna stop it. You could be doing this for 7,000 years. A spirit like mine gonna come along and say, yo, this never made any damn sense and we're gonna stop it. Literally. Like, that's it. The end. I respect the institution of marriage, but it's not the end all be all. If you're with somebody that you don't love, then that's your fault. You trying to have people respect you for who you're not, that's your fault. The only thing you can think about when you go home to your wife is how you wish you were sitting next to somebody else, but you're going to stay there because you hate how it looks when you don't. It's your fault. You're kicking your own ass. And you care about people who don't care about your ass like that. And you're not only capping the people who would be impressed by that, but you're also capping the people that are going to call it out. That's where we at now. Like, yo, no. We see you, and that ain't no good. And you ain't no more reliable for behaving that way than you think you would be for exposing it. If anything, you're much more reliable for exposing it and standing on it, because at least that'll show us that we can count on you to be honest, for which apparently doesn't hold as much weight as wearing a mask does these days. Which is ass backwards and antichrist if I've ever heard of such a thing. I'm telling you, it's gonna be some people mad. You thought you wanted to discard me before you found out who I was? Wait till you start seeing some of these therapy sessions and what we've been talking about for the last year and a half. Then you're gonna really be ashamed of me by the measures in which you're ashamed of me now. You're gonna want me dead. That's what I'm telling you. You think if this is what you want to do, then you definitely don't need to be going through any more of my therapy sessions if you saw this one. Don't. So I'm telling people, just say, hey, yo, if this ain't your type of conversation, you don't want to know who this individual is. But don't be confused by the fact of me not being ashamed of who I am. I ain't. Not at all. I ain't ashamed of me. I'm ashamed of you. You don't want capping. You don't want fine with people dying. You don't want acting like this, that, and the third didn't happen when damn it did. And a lot of good things came from it. No. I'm proud of Lily Faye Smith, my mother's mother. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't not exist. You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about? I'm a whole human being. What are we talking about? Barbara Deloney was a whole human being. What are we talking about? And we go discarded him? Why? Because it makes the person who did what he did look bad for doing what he did. He did it. Thank God he did. Literally. Thank God he did. Because if he didn't, we wouldn't be having conversations like this. And I'm here to save all y'all from your own bullshit. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.